Hi, today I'm here to talk about relationships. I always tell this in my therapy sessions with the couples. Relationship stands on two pillars. One is acceptance and one is transparency. If any one of these pillars are weak, the relationship will be weak. Transparency is where you have to be completely open and honest with each other. Even if you fear that if you're honest, you might lose the person, then I would just say that relationship is not worth saving in the first place. Acceptance is about accepting the positives and the negatives of each other. Usually, what happens is we want the other person to accept us as we are, but we do not offer the same privilege to the other person. So even becoming aware of this aspect, that acceptance is to be built within a relationship, will give it a smooth flow. Now here I'm not asking if you are being abused, you need to accept the other person and accept the abuse. Acceptance also means that you firstly do not lose yourself, your identity in this process. Another thing which I would like to talk about the relationship is, in a relationship, if there are any kind of fights or arguments, you cannot call it like 100% fault of one person and 0% fault of another, or it's not even a 50-50 fault. Usually it's always a 80-20, a 60-40, or a 70-30. Even arguing whether who is more at fault, who is less at fault, can never lead a relationship to where it needs to be. That is much more stronger and stable. So here what I would like to tell is, which I usually again mention this to couples. Even in couples therapy, one is dealing with individuals first. A couple's problem usually begins when the focus is always on the other person and not the self. When you bring that focus back to yourself as to where is it that you would like to work on so that you feel less disturbed. Because the reality is, yes, the other person might be misbehaving, might be having a lot of anger, but it is still your choice as to what you do in that circumstance and how much you let yourself get disturbed, how much you get impacted by the anger of the other person. It's still your choice. So that is the part where one has to focus on the self. One has to focus on you and not the other person. Those relationships always go a long way. And relationship is about growth in each other. Find the best parts in the other person and inculcate that in you. And give your best parts to the other person so that the other person imbibes that from you. Blessings to all.